Hey YouTube, I actually forgot what I was doing. Hey YouTube, it's now the Olympus Reptiles. Sometimes I'm an airhead, it's just late. But today I want to talk about an actual serious topic, and no, this isn't going to be a rant. Some of you will probably think it will be, but I promise you it's not. Caffeine. We're going to talk about the ball python market. And, you know, the current conditions of said market. And this has been brought on by a few things why I want to throw my 2 cents into the ring. And let me get started by saying a lot of this is my personal opinion. So I'm not saying I'm the end-all, be-all, and I'm right, and I'm the world's greatest gift to the ball python market, and know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a living, breathing beast, and we all kind of have our own thoughts and opinions on how that market's going to work and what it's going to do and where it's going to go and the state of it. So that being said, for some of you who are going to disagree with me, you know, that's okay. And if you come about it the right way, we can have a nice conversation about it. We'll probably both learn something, because that's usually how it works when you exchange ideas. But if you come on here and you're just like, being a bat hole about it, I'm just going to get rid of you anyway. So don't even waste your time or mine doing that, because this is more of an opinion type thing. So I know what brought this on is we've done some pricing videos, some of those things, and some of the nerves we kind of struck with that, and people wanting to comment about supply and demand, and how that factors in. And supply and demand definitely factors in, but it's a main factor, honestly, but it also doesn't, you know, dictate your prices have to be low and how the undercutting works. And there's always going to be undercutting. But an undercutting is not a bad thing, and I'll explain that. Severe undercutting can be a bad thing, but slight undercutting or slight overcutting, sometimes that's not a bad thing. However, the market, when I first started too, I know, you know, we wanted to build this channel when we first began and kind of bring you guys along our journey. I know one of the things when I was new getting into it and I was researching every day, taking in as much information and research as I can. If you pop into Google, is the ball python market dead, or the ball python market, the first thing that pops up is the sky is falling, the ball python market's dead, and we all missed the train. The train has left the station, left the tracks, it's gone, it's done, it is as it's just dead as can be. It's coal. You know, coal's dying right now, as everybody says, and that's what the ball python market is. It's not true. Okay? I'm going to be the first to tell you that's not true. And I'm going to show you the snake that killed the ball python market. Quotations, because it's not really dead. Where did it go? Right here. This is the culprit of all those naysayers. Right here. This gene. Banana. And that is a beautiful example of a banana. And no, I'm not trying to sell her. She's mine. She is female. It was male bananas that killed the gene. And when I came into the market, bananas were still a thing. Like, they were a big thing. They were going for like, I want to say about maybe 10 to 20 grand. But before that, they'd been 60, 70 grand, 80 grand. And there was all this, holy crap, I spent all this money, remortgaged my house, and did all this to get this banana ball python. And the market crashed, and it crashed again, and I'm losing all this money. Yeah, that happened. Okay, that did. But that doesn't dictate that the market's dead. That's just the market becoming regular. This is where supply and demand has a major, major effect. Whenever talking about, supply and demand, this is a perfect example. If I just got this snake out of Africa, and it's the only one, and it looks like this, and nothing else is like that out there, and I have it, the only one, I can pretty much demand my price. If I were to keep it, raise it, breed it, prove it out, and I had 3 that I was going to sell, I can still kind of demand my price. And if I say, that's $100,000, it is, if somebody's willing to pay it. Right? And on something that was this crazy, there were people who were. Now, let's say I take those 3 males and I sell them. Boom, boom, boom. Okay? I just pocketed 300 grand. I made it. Bam! We made a hell of a deal. That's more money I've ever made in a year in my entire life. Like, more than I care to admit times over. That's not going to happen for me, and that's okay. Okay, that's not going to happen for most of this game, and that's okay. But you sell that banana to those 3 guys. They take it up, they breed it. It takes them a year. So by next season, what have I done? I've bred it a lot. Since I'll say I have a male, I've bred it to 6 females. Now I've proved it out. So now I've got, say, 3 eggs of clutch come out bananas. Most of them are all male back then, remember? So you get 18. So now I'm selling 18 bananas. The supply has gone up 180% from me. Let's say those 3 guys I sold to, say 2 of them get their male up to size next season, do the same thing. They breed to 6. Now they have 18, they have 18. And so now there's almost 60 in the market. If we're keeping our math really good, it's 54, I believe. So now there's 54 of them out there. So now if you say $100,000, you ain't going to get it. There's 54 of them out there. There's a lot more. So now that price takes a dip. And then guess what happens the next year? Well, out of those 54, let's say 50 of them get sold. They do the same thing. And all of a sudden there's all these more babies. And then you see that market cut again because now it's not near as unique. So now it's gone from 100,000 to maybe like 40 to 10 to 3. To now, bananas, I can go find a banana for 200, a male. I can't find a female for 200 yet. And that's supply and demand, okay? That's supply and demand. That's how that works. Once that supply increases, there's still a lot of demand, but there's not as many people trying to compete for one. And if you're too high, I can go over here. I can go over here and that market will regulate, okay? Now, there's a point where supply and demand will always matter, but it's not going to set the market as much as people think. And what I mean by that is, well, let me show you the snake that's going to cause that. Guess what snake I'm pulling out? Pull out the same one. That's right. I'm going to use banana for the example again. I just told you can get a banana for $200. Sometimes you can find one cheaper. But there's a lot of variations in banana. And if you look at how pretty this snake is, they are gorgeous. These are gorgeous babies. These albinos, pieds. Then I can show you with the pied too. You know, pied is a great example for this because, where did I put my pied? Where? Here you are. Because they have been out for a very, very long time. You know, come here. They've been around. Been around for a very, very long time, these pieds have. So, I'll show you her too. And look at these. And those are still going for $350 and these are going for $200. Well, why? Because pastel's not, you know, even the 2-gene bumblebees aren't going for that much. Here's the reason. Because these snakes, well, one, this is recessive, so the demand is always high and the supply is never as high. But this is not recessive. This is an incomplete dominant. And I can tell you, I don't ever play on the market on those going down to as low as it does in like a pastel or something like that. The reason is this. They're beautiful. So are pastels, but these are really this eye-catching color and everything else. And these will sell as just a pet. And once it's selling as just a pet, there's this kind of happy place in that market, right? Where people are willing to buy that animal as a pet. Because not everybody who's going to buy ball pythons from you is going to breed. They're not. They're not all going to breed. Thank God, because then we'd be trading back and forth, you know. A lot of people just want one for a pet, but they want something that looks pretty, looks different. They see these bananas, and they're just these pretty little snakes. So they end up going with a banana. Same with bells. I mean, think about a bell. It's made by 2 lessers, or a lesser in Mojave. You can find lessers for, you know, about $100. Pretty easy. Breed 2 of them together, and you make a $400 snake. How's that work? Well, based on supply and demand, it doesn't. It does because they will sell to people who just want a pet. They're kind of in that threshold. So you're not just selling to breeders, you're selling to people who are like, oh, that's the prettiest thing I've seen, and they're willing to pay that much more for that premium animal, that premium looking pet, that look that they want in their house for their snake. And the market itself is growing. It's not dying, it's growing. The days of cashing in and making fast money, those are pipe dreams that a few people are going to hit. It's just like buying a lottery ticket, okay? You may hit it, but if you're banking on that, you're banking wrong. You're banking wrong in some ways, and I'll explain again here in a minute. But if you're going to make animals that are pretty, high quality, and healthy, the market's alive and doing well. The market's growing. The population is growing. More people are getting into the reptiles as pets. More people are living in smaller spaces or living in apartments. They can't have a cat or they can't have a dog, or they're busy and they're by themselves. They don't want to come home to let that animal out all the time. And something that's lower maintenance, only takes a few minutes a day to take care of, and a little bit more time, maybe once a week, to do a little bit more deeper cleaning and things like that is very, very appealing, especially when it stays in a small space. You know, it's something that they can handle and interact with. The snake may never love you. I'm a big believer that their emotions run very different than ours. They're very instinctual. But that doesn't mean a person can't love a snake. You know? I mean, it may not love you, but you can love it, and people do. And I love my snakes. They calm me, they relax me, I enjoy it. I was a pet snake keeper for more years than I've ever been a breeder, and I know what I'd be willing to pay for. So, you got to understand how that market's working. It's not going to die, okay? It's not going to die. So if you're getting into there and you're starting to get afraid because you're reading these articles that the sky is falling and there's no hope and there's doom and there's gloom, I'm telling you, if you go out there and you market yourself, and you market your animals, and you make good animals, the market's fine. The market's great. Holy crap. When we just got back from Denver, the only thing I told Carl on the way home was, damn, I wish I had like 40 or 50 more snakes when I went there. I didn't have the stock when we went, and I sure didn't when we come home. I've had multiple inquiries since then going, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? I'm like, no, I don't. Man, I wish I did. The market is alive. It's well. It's thriving. If you're passionate about it, you can see why. It's not dying. So I don't want you to be afraid in that market. And when you read those articles, I don't want you to get down and feel like this is a dying thing. I did. I was worried about it. I'm like, man, this is what I want to do. But according to all these people, I missed the boat. The market's dead, and there's no way to do it. But I'm going to try it anyway. And I found out that they're all full of shit. Every one of them. They don't know what they're talking about. So the people who go out there and say, oh, the market's dead, they don't have a clue. This is going to sound bad, okay? They're just not good at it. Or they're not good, and when I say they're not good at it, they may be great with snakes and great at caring for them and great at breeding them, but they must not be good at the marketing aspect or something, because we honestly don't have a problem. I know a lot of other people don't have a problem. My issue is I can't produce enough. And if that's my problem, then the market is doing wonderful. So don't fret about that. One thing I did mention is about the big snakes when the line I said to explain. And what I mean is this, and I'm going to use the Scaleless Head Project as an example. Scaleless Project has got a lot of people up in arms. It's kind of like the new banana. They're all, no, the sky's falling again. It's not, okay? It's not. I have a person that I know, a good friend of mine, and he jumped into the Scales Project. I didn't jump into the Scales Project not because I don't believe in it. I think it's a great project. One, I didn't want to invest that much money at the time because we're trying to get this place to pay for itself. We weren't there yet when that Scales came out, which meant I wasn't going to open my pocketbook and dump into it until I proved my concept, which we now have. And I just didn't want to put all my eggs in that basket. I wanted to wait. That was me. I had other projects I was more interested in doing, zebra bees, exanthic stuff. But I do know a guy that did jump into it. He bought himself a Scaleless Head male, and he paid a lot of money for it. I don't want to quote the exact amount, but I want to say it was in the 4 digits, and it was above 5. I think we were in the over 7,000 range, honestly, when that happened. But don't, again, I'm trying to go from memory. So, you breed those out, and then you come this year and you have babies, and that market's just, boom, it's nosedived. So now instead of getting 7,000 a baby, maybe you're getting 700 a baby. But let me tell you guys, if you bred that thing out, and you made 10 babies, which is like 2, maybe 3 clutches, which is about all the harder I breed my males, usually about 3 clutches. But if you breed them harder, because you're trying to, say you make 5 clutches or 4 clutches, say you hit right square on the odds, you did 4 clutches, you got 6 eggs of clutch, that's 6, 12, 18, 24, right? Boom, so you got 24 eggs. About half of them are going to carry scaleless. I'm going to guess you didn't breed them to normal, you bred them to multiple gene females, most likely. So you're going to have scaleless head, lessers, and the scaleless head pins, and the scaleless head GHIs, or whatever the hell you decide to put it to. And yeah, you may not get 7,000 a baby, but even if you got 700 a baby, which is low on some of that, by the way, the number of babies you have is 14, right? That were scaleless head. We're not including the extras that you're going to make money on, too. That adds up to 10 of them would make you 7,000. The other 4 at 700 pieces would make you 2,800. So you're at 9,800. So you made your investment back in 1 year plus some. So even though that market takes that nosedive, and it sounds like, oh, Jesus, died. It didn't. You still made a good profit. You can look at that and say, oh, no, I didn't. I really lost money because they're down so low, but you had a bunch of them and you sold them. You made a profit. Even if they went down lower and you just broke even year 1. Even if it took you 2 years to break even on that scaleless head, which I don't think it did or would for anybody, by year 3, you're now turning a pure profit. So that market, even then, you're going to make money on it. What you're probably not going to do is buy a snake for $25,000 or $50,000. Like some of the first scaleless heads that came out and got sold for like 50 grand, take that back, breed it, and get 35 grand a baby. Those days are done. Those days are done. They're out, they're over. But can you make money with that? Absolutely you can. Absolutely you can. Because even if you spent 30 grand, you get 1,500 a baby, you do that same math I just did, you're going to be back even in 2 years and above. And then you're going to be ahead on your scaleless projects, making full scaleless, which we could go to the math on that. You're going to make money. Okay, you're going to make money as long as your animal doesn't pass away and as long as you take care of your stuff and you market yourself well. So I don't want you thinking that the market's toast. It's not. I gave you an example when the market died from the banana. And I gave you an example of how that banana does really well. We hatched, see here, I think, what was it, Kurt? 4 bananas in one clutch this year and 3 bananas in another. We hatched a total of 7 bananas this year in 2 clutches. Okay? Out of all 7 bananas, only 1 was a straight up banana. It was a female. The other 3, we had 3 banana pins, 3 banana black pastels. I kept 2. I sold every other one of those. The banana black pastels never hit the public because Patreon cleaned them up. Right? Speaking of that, if you're not on Patreon, you should be, because there's some amazing crap happening there. Come to our Patreon. Come to our Patreon. They all went right through there. It's like most of my bells did. My bells all went to Patreon. I didn't even take them. I took them to one show and they never gone on Patreon. The banana pins, 1 went to Patreon, 2 made it to Denver, and they both sold there. So I didn't have that stuff very long. It sold off the shelves, and it sold at a great price. The market's not dead. Well, the same snake everybody says killed it, I'm telling you, it's a great market. It's a great market on those. A banana clutch, I can look at, if I put a banana to another female that's got an extra gene in it, you know, especially take my banana black pastel now, and I throw it to like a 2-gene female, I'm going to make $1,000 in that clutch easy. I know I am if I sell it all, and I have a normal, healthy clutch. That's awesome. So the market is fine. It's just fine. So don't listen to it. Kurt, you got any questions about this?
What's the most amount you spent on one snake?
Oh, man. Me personally, most amount on one snake. One thing you guys got to understand is I'm cheap. Very cheap. It was probably that $600 proven pastel. And even that, $600 for a pastel is a lot. It was a lot when I spin it. Now you can get a proven pastel for probably a third of that pretty easy. But I guarantee you I made my money back on there because she's produced me probably 30 babies. It would have been 40 except for I screwed one clutch up. It's not a bad market. It's not a bad market. Probably $600 for me. I don't know. Can you think of anything else I spent more on?
No.
There may be something out there. I know I've done some combo deals where we spent more. I know when we jumped into the clowns, we spent a bit of money on that. That was more you than me, though. You know, most of the things I see that are high-end, there's this drive that I have that I don't want to buy it. I want to make it. Like, I want to make it and have my own that I made and be all super tight with it, like, you know, my boy Zeus. So I tend not to overspend on those animals, not because they're not worth it, but because what drives me is to create. That's what drives me. So it kind of puts us behind the 8 ball in what we get for our snakes. It takes our projects longer, but it really puts the passion and the pride into what I'm doing, so it's worth it to me to do it that way. Any other questions?
No.
All right, guys, like us, subscribe to us, check out our Patreon, because I'm telling you what, we're going to change the rules to this game. We really are. So go check that out. Sign up for that. Awesome stuff happening. You're going to miss it if you don't. And believe in the market, because it's healthy. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.